Hey mom, can I have a quarter? Fragorn here. Looking at the guide today, kind of focusing on what do you do to get ready for Path of Exile 2. So I'm playing the Necro Settlers League, and I wanted to make a character that was very basic and very simple. Um, when Path of Exile 2 comes out, we won't have near the level of third-party software that we currently have with Path of Exile 1. So I made this character completely free of anything. There's no path to building. I didn't even turn it on for the character. Simply looked at the passive skill tree, came up with a strategy for how to do a little damage, how to get a little survivability, and tried to make a character out of it. So what I've come up with is Pathfinder. I am currently level 91. I'm using explosive trap of shrapnel as my main damage source, and I'm doing it with poison. So how I'm doing that is consuming darks. So I have two consuming dark daggers. I got these both super cheap, 1 chaos each off trade. I use Tinker Skin for mainly to keep my energy shield up so I can continue to throw traps. Don't even have a 5 link there, so I have an embalmer that I picked up, which is this pseudo 5 link, or gloves in a 5 link. So I have my explosive trap of shrapnel linked with vile toxins level 20 from the gloves, swift assembly to throw a few extra traps, unbound ailment support to get a little more poison duration and damage, and trap and mine damage. So Tinker Skin gives me the frenzy charge generation when trap hits an enemy, and the big thing about it is recovering 50 energy shield and 100 life. So it's my restore. Without it, I'm going to run out of energy shield really fast. See, it's just ticking down, but if I'm hitting enemies, getting 50 back with every time they pop, I have plenty. It never runs out. Other things that are terrible in this build with gear are just a routine amulet with a little resist and a little life and a little regen. Not very useful, but does meet some of my requirements. I needed the strength. Got a helm with a tiny bit of spell suppression on it. I needed just a little bit to cap me. I am capped at 100. This is not actually too bad with life and resistance, or regeneration though. That's very nice to have a little bit of regen. I think I'm running about 300. 326. Crummy ring that I picked up. Little life. I threw on a little more damage. Regular belt. I crafted on the trap throwing speed for a little more damage. And then a Mink's Heart, which is my biggest damage source. So without it, I go down quite a bit. So let's see here. Poison damage on my trap right now. Tooltip is 10.5. Goes down to 6.4. So that is a lot of damage from that Mink's Heart ring. So other things that I'm doing, I just have my movement speed in this dagger, whirling blades, faster attacks, and then flame dash. My ores are period of elements. Right now they're terrible, but I'm a flask master, so pop my flasks, goes up to 100 almost on all of them. Period of elements keeps me ailment immune. Malevolence, little boost to damage. Arctic armor, because my defenses are terrible. Right now my armor is 79, and Arctic armor when stationary and throwing traps. It's reducing the physical damage I take by a lot. I also use a granite flask, which is a big boost. When I pop that, I go up to 4,000 armor, which is not huge, but it's very noticeable when it's not there. As it sits right now, I cannot sustain the granite flask charges outside of a map. I need to be killing monsters to get charges, but the resistance flasks will all stay on. Terrible boots that I picked up, but actually work really good for this build. So they cap my chaos resistance because I always have a flask going. So I'm actually overcapped. I got 94. And they throw in a little extra chaos damage to spells during flask effect, which I always have going. So I've never even thought to use these boots and barely even picked them up in previous builds, but they work very good. So other gems that I'm using, I use a dual curse setup with a brand, Despair, Temporal Chains, Arcanist brand to cast that. Like I said, I have my main trap damage here. I do use a decoy totem, which is huge. It saves my life big time in hard fights, and this Necro Settlers League has got some crazy hard monsters in it. So you need this when you have a soft, squishy build like I do. It's unbelievable how many times this saves my life. Skitter bots I'm not even using, just leveled the gem. Added chaos I'm not even using, I just leveled the gem. Got automated steel skin. 61's as high as I can get it right now without adding more strength. I could get a better ring and get that up to max level easily, but I haven't spent any money on this character. I bet I've spent less than 20 chaos on him. Guess when damage taken, Void Spear is very handy too. Take a little bit of damage, pops up the Void Spear, sucks in the enemies. It's nice defensive layer. Let's take a look at the tree. So like I said, I didn't use Path of Building at all for this. I literally made this off the forums planner for making guides because I'm not sure what's going to be available in Path of Exile 2. I took the poison ascendancy. I always have a flask going, so I'm getting that bonus to poison damage is there, and then spreading my poisons is super nice. Get the free withered and improved withered. Anything that I hit's gonna get withered. If you hit a boss with a bunch of traps, it's gonna go to max 15 stacks in no time. The flask gain charges is what's keeping my flask going right there. You can see my granite flask fell off, but it's full, so I can pop it again if I need to. And then Nature's Boon, I just want a little more bonus from the flasks. I could have swapped out Nature's Boon for Master Surgeon, but I don't want to pop a life flask every 8 seconds to keep my regen going. It's just more finger clicks, and I didn't want to deal with it. I plan to, if I keep this build going more than what I've done, and he's kind of already done what I wanted him to. Like I said, I got 2 Void Stones and most of the Atlas done, so this guy served his purpose. He cost me nothing and achieved what I needed it to. But if I do this, I get a improved ring here. If I get a 6-link Tinker Skin, improved gloves, improved boots, improved ring, will be my first 3 pieces that I'll change out. I would get more regen on all that, maybe get myself up to 500, 600, 700 regen, and that would be very smooth. Wouldn't need to rely on the Tinker Skin near as much. It would make a big difference. I would also probably try to go with armor evasion bases on most of these pieces of gears just to get a little more armor. That 4200 is okay, but it's not great. And if I could get it up to 5 or 6, it would make a big difference in how much I could take. So this guy's not going to be tanky. He's not a tanky character. That's not what he's built for. I could actually go glass cannon too. I could get another Ming's Heart, replace the ring with that, and have 2. Look for as much DPS as I could get, and he would probably be a pretty decent bosser. I would probably hit dot cap fairly easily, which is 35 million DPS. So I don't know what I'll do with him. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, on the tree, a couple of things that I did that are notable. So I'm just stacking damage multipliers for damage over time. One of the tricks that makes Consuming Dark work so well with this build is it converts 30% of my fire damage to chaos. So I have 2 of those, so that's 60. So you look at that, and that's not that much chaos damage. But the gem itself converts 50% to fire and leaves the other 50. This mastery is so good for this because I can turn the 40% that's not converted to fire into chaos, which gives it the poison. So we're looking at the tooltip here. No Path of Building again. Like I said, I did this without it. It's the vast majority of the of the trap's damage is chaos, which is what I want, and that's where it poisons. The rest of it is probably irrelevant. Eventually, when I get a 6-link Tinkerskin, if I did, I would probably use a Void Manipulation gem. I've leveled one. I should actually take those out and put some gem cutters on there so that I can get them up to 20 quality. Anyway, so back to this. If I use the Void Manipulation, it's going to turn all of my fire damage that's left over. Won't do any damage, deal no elemental damage, so that'll just vanish. But it won't matter because I'm going to get the nice bonus from 34% more chaos, which is what my damage is doing. Alright, back to the tree. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping around here. This is kind of a spur of the moment build and thought on what to do. Alright, so a little bit of a reservation there, which lets me use the 2 auras and the Herald, or the Arctic Armor, excuse me. The big mastery right there converts my 40% of my physical to chaos, making most of my damage chaos. This little stretch right here is just damage over time and chaos. Physical damage. I'll go into more physical damage. I want as much physical damage increase as I can get because that benefits Ming's Heart the most, because I gain 59% of physical as extra chaos. So the more that I can add on the front end with physical before it gets converted, the better. Little life, a little more damage. Crit is fine. More crit is fine. Traps. And I'm not a crit build, but I do not mind critting. And I'll show you why. It's very simple. A hit from this that crits does 95 to 14 poison damage. A non-crit hit, 72 to 10-9. That's not a huge difference, but it's big enough that it's okay to have a few points in crit. More trap skills here, mainly trap throwing and trigger area effect. I want to throw extra traps, so more poison, more traps, more damage. Looking at ailment duration with this mastery, the longer your poisons are on, the more damage they do. Mine are over 100%, so it's past 4 seconds. Just damage over time multiplier. Little life, spell suppression. I am capped. Right there, 100% spell suppression capped. And this is okay for recovering more energy shield too, which keeps my traps going. A little more mana reservation. I needed all of this, or at least this one, to get to have the 3 reservations going. Without it, I was just shy, so I still have 36 leftover mana, but that's okay. Dual Curse, Eldritch Battery, which moves my energy shield to my mana and lets me use it as a spender. More damage over time multiplier with Chaos. And then a Trap Wheel. Like I said, I'm not looking for crits, but it's okay. I mean, 1 point of crit here gives me a nice little bonus to crit. Gives me a chance to generate power charges. I probably will take this 4th power charge and run with 4. When I have 4, my crit chance will be up to, let's see what it is right now. It's only at 16, but it'll probably knock on the door of, I don't know, 30, something like that, if I have 4 power charges going. Somewhere in there anyway. Frenzy charges are awesome and easy to generate with Tinkerskin. Give me 4% more damage per frenzy charge. Keep my suppression capped. Here's a big mastery I skipped over earlier. I do have to take 1 strength node to get myself up to use my steel skin, my decoy totem. With all evasion on my gears, I get 15% chance to suppress, which is a big number and very easy for 1 point, so no brainer to take that. This is my 5th frenzy charge. A little more health, suppression and evasion, a little more health, a little bit of remedy to keep my flasks up and going so that I can have uptime on bosses for sure, and then a little more health. So it's quite a simple build, and since I'm doing Settlers League, I'm going to just run a atoll map. It's level 12. I've been doing map 6 tier 16 content like I showed you. I do have my 2 void stones, so this build can do it. I was deathless versus the eater, and I think I had 1 death versus searing. Didn't move fast enough on the devastation or whatever he says. Anyway, here we go. We'll just do a quick showcase of this map. So I'm going to get my 4 potions going and my automation going, and we are running. So I have no movement speed in my flask with running the 3 resistances and the armor, but that's okay. Whirling Blades is fast enough. I also only have 20% with the Dusk Toe, which is not good. I definitely move up to 30% plus with my boots if I replace them, but for now it's fine. So it's not a fast build, it's just not crazy slow, but what it is cheap. This costs nothing. Like I said, the whole build's probably less than 20 chaos. This is going to give me a feel for Path of Exile 2. Because I'm going to guess some of my builds and what I start with in Path of Exile 2 are going to be really scuffed and messy. But we'll see what we come up with. I don't think I'm going to bother doing this whole map. I'll just go to the boss and kill him, and that'll be your showcase. The boss damage is outstanding for the amount of investment I have here. Totem, curse, bam, just hold it down and off they go. And you're going to see the poison ramp, and he is dead. She is dead just like that. So it is DPS. There's no problem there. Alright, that's the build guide for this Necro Settlers. No path of building. Kind of what to do to get ready for Path of Exile 2 Pathfinder Trapper. I hope you liked it, and if you have any questions, hit the comments below. I'd be happy to help. Once again, this is Fragorn, and Mom, can I have a quarter?